Hello there, welcome to Messing About with a Narrowboat.
Hi.
In this week's episode, it's a catch up. We're going to paint the stern and then we're going to put all those doors and hatches back in and we're going to paint the bow and we're just going to keep going. We are chasing the weather this week.
Yeah, we're quite lucky today. It's been quite nice.
Yeah, but it's kind of one day on, one day off, so that's all we're doing. So join us for the rest of this video where we take you through painting the stern mostly. It's another wet day. It's the weekend. Definitely not a paint your boat day. So in the garage over the weekend I painted the 4 duck hatches. So I'm just going to take the masking tape off of those, clean them up. So that's 4. There's the stern doors. That's 4. That's 8 here. And there are 7 on the boat. Finished the hatches indoors. Yay! It's only taken me 2 weeks. When the glass, all the glass including the portholes went in, I asked the boat builder to make the mastic around it flat so that I could paint right up. So I always knew I was going to put some more mastic on all the windows. So that's the job done. We still need to let those things cure. You know, you can see that it's not quite dry yet. So we'll let them cure before I manhandle them and take them onto the boat just in case I chip them like before. And then we'll put them on. That'll be a big milestone. Pretty pleased with that, actually. Pretty pleased. So all these doors and hatches have had 2 coats of the epoxy paint. These have been hardening now for about 3 days, 4 days. I'm going to let these ones harden as well. I don't know if it needs 3 coats. The data sheet said 2 coats. It's all to do with the paint thickness and the microns. I've been measuring that and I've got it to the recommended 160 microns. So it should be okay. But in my head I'm kind of debating whether it needs a 3rd thin coat. So I've done one little edge as a 3rd thin coat and we'll see the difference. It's an experiment. I guess the test is chip damage or bumping damage. If the paint damages easily when I bump into things, that's the worry really with using this 2-pack paint. Just I guess in the back of my head where the guy at the boatyard, he said, oh, they don't use 2-pack because it can peel if it gets water underneath it. So they only use single part paint, standard boat enamel paint. So that's kind of sitting in the back of my head. Logic says the 2-pack is much more robust. Much more robust. It's a little bit more expensive. It's a little bit more fiddly because you have to mix paint and a hardener. But in theory, it should bake brick hard. And when I was sanding the 2-part epoxy primer, boy, was it brick hard. So I'm just waiting for all of this to cure. The data sheet says between 12 and 20 days to cure. I can't keep the boat in the paint shed that long. So we're just going to have to wing it. So I've got permission to be in the paint shed for another week or so, and then it has to be out. So if I can keep these things in the garage, inside the boat, as long as possible, give them enough curing time as long as possible, hopefully we'll be okay. Back at the boat, it's the start of a new week. It is a bit grey and overcast today, but looking at the weather forecast and my plans for this week, I have got to get painting done today. At least get a first coat on the stern. That's the job. So before we start painting, everything's getting a wipe down with a tack cloth. And we're on our way. I'm not going to video much of it just because it's kind of cramped with the camera and everything here. It's easier just to get on with it. This epoxy paint, once you start, you can't stop. Nearly there. Oh, it's hard work. Had to put knee pads on because it was killing my knees. Finished. Well, first coat. So that's all on by brush. There's a couple of little runs that you try to take them off. It's just going to ruin the paint, so I'll wait till tomorrow when I'm doing my sort of 400, 600 grit sand down, and I'll just smooth it all out then. So I'm going to set up the camera now on time lapse for the next 24 hours and we can all watch paint dry. Nah. Another day on board. Time to get it sanded with a 400 grit. Hour and a half later, it's all sandy. There was a couple of runs, so I had to aggressively sand them back. But overall, it's good. Now, it's time to go and do tack cloth and wipe off all the dust, and we'll go on with the second coat. Might need a third, we shall see. Finished! Second coat on. The second coat's gone on really well after I've sanded the first coat flat. There's a few brush marks, but I think that's from me not sanding the primer flat enough, and just some awkward spaces where I got runs and didn't sand them back properly. But mostly it's absolutely fine. Very pleased with that. Very pleased indeed. There's a few drips and splatterings on the floor, but actually that's okay because it's all coming up anyway. And as the light is beginning to fade, I've had to use a torch just to make sure that there are no runs anywhere, particularly on the edges. And I'm quite happy, really. As I say, one or two little brush marks, but I can live with them. I might do a third coat. So the weather's now rubbish for 4 days. I've got to make a decision whether we just now completely pack up with the painting until spring, or I'd quite like to get this last stern seat done. As you can see, it's a bit awkward to do them all at the same time, so if I can let this dry for 4 days and then maybe next week there's 2 or 3 days of good weather, I might just go and give it give it a good old sand down and get that painted. That would then only leave me the sides to do and the gunnels to do in the spring. There's no way I'm doing the sides, not in this weather. Tempting though. No, stop it. Well, it's been a couple of days. I've had a lot of domestic things to go and do, you know, car service and haircut and bits and bobs like that. And yeah, it's been a couple of days. It is a terribly grey day. It's very misty. The metalwork's a bit damp and wet, so I won't be painting anything outside today, I think. But overall, the paint has held up. I think I will give it a third coat when the temperatures come up, maybe tomorrow. I can see just a bit too many brush lines in that side in particular, but the rest of it is quite okay. It's quite nice. Now clearly it's not a spray paint job, so you are going to get brush marks in it, particularly with epoxy. So that prep work is absolutely critical to get it all as flat as possible, and you're not exaggerating any paint or brush marks. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. The paint has got a lovely kind of thick, soft feel to it. Well, apart from there are definitely some brush marks there. So I'll take that out with 800 grit and redo it there in particular. But everywhere else, it's actually it's quite tactile. It's quite nice to just sit and touch it compared to, say, the original rough primer. But definitely nothing on the outside today. It's going to be dank, misty, overcast all day. Better tomorrow, I think. So today I am going to start putting the doors back up. And darn, I was about to go and get the sliding hatch done, and I went over the masking tape with a brush. I didn't notice that, or I would have wiped it off. Oh, that's just annoying. That is annoying. Yeah, quick repair job on that. Yeah, I did the same there. What a dough ball. So focus on inside jobs, but you can see it's quite cold. My glasses are steaming up. So I'm not going to do any painting at all, because that would just be nuts. Bow hatches, I forgot to put the mastic, the sealant around the edges to tidy that up. So I'll do both those doors. I'll do another coat on there. I'll fix that run that I got. So I've masked up the door because I just don't want it spreading too far. I've given it a bit of a wipe just to make sure it's clean. Bit of mastic. And then we will smooth it off in a second. Try and keep it going in one shot. That way you get the hinges. And then I'm using a little masking shaping tool. Which gives us a nice 45-degree. Get off the excess. And then smooth it off like that. We'll do that all round. Now you will see a gazillion things, and people will say a bunch of stuff on how to do mastic. Oh, you don't need it, cut it at an angle, melt the tube, cut a little slit in the tube and it'll go on. I just find these little huge tools just as easy, and I mask it up only because I don't want any excess around. Lots of paper towel. The only problem is around these hinges it's a bit awkward. But it's okay. And while I've got the mastic out, I may as well take the side hatch doors, the duck hatch doors, and just fill in any gap between the window and the steel. Such a grey, yuck day. Nothing's moving, nobody's out, nobody's working on the boats. It's just yuck. Right, pretty job number 4 of my end of week, end of project bitty things. Another coat on that, and then we'll fix them. Hey, at least the sliding hatch is done. Right, job done. Time for a bit of a break, a wee coffee break. You know, today's one of those days that it's lots and lots and lots of little bitty things that just has to get done. There's no other way about it, it's just got to get done. Like, I'm going to sit and have a cup of coffee and clean up all the hinge washers, get all the old paint off them. Yeah, that's a fun job, isn't it, for Friday? Gotta get done. Well, this is fun. Maybe I should just go to the chandlery and buy 30 washers. Right, I popped down to the chandlery, well, the little shop here. They don't have any. So, just going to keep going. Well, that's an hour and a bit. I'm not going to get back, but there they are. All cleaned of paint and shiny. I'm just going to give them some lubrication. Let them sit in that for a little bit. Do I need to do this? I don't know, probably. I found that when I was doing the hatches, getting the doors off the hinges, the first one went on and the paint came off the hinge. A bit of investigation into that, I thought, oh, I've painted it too thick. But in reality, I think it was I painted over the washer, and when the washer tried to move, it pulled the paint off. So I've just belt and braces, I've gone through and taken all the washers off. I've cleaned up all the primer off of them so they're nice and clean-ish. And then they'll go back on. Hopefully it'll be fine. The only thing is I'm now a Bond villain. I've managed to sandpaper off all of my fingerprints. So, phone's only working on Face ID. So, it doesn't shut. Weird. It's catching here, but more than catching, it's like it just doesn't want to. Even if I force it. I can see it, the washer isn't far enough down. Okay, fix that. A little head scratching. I've figured out what's wrong. So if I put a washer on this, it's too high. Now, all the washers are the same height, so it's a bit weird. So that one's got its washer on and it's fine. But I went to count the washers, there's a couple missing, which I've thought I've dropped. But if I take the washer off of that hinge, it fits perfectly. So I might go away and find a thinner washer. I just wonder if one was fitted in the first place. Don't know. So I'm going to go home now. It's only 3 o'clock, but it's really dark. I got almost everything done that I wanted. I wanted to do some sanding at the bow, but I just can't be bothered. Nah, I've had enough. Changed my mind. Came to sand this little bow locker part. Yeah, so it's not much, just wanted to get it done. Short time later, that's all masked up and ready. It's nice and smooth, it's ready to go. It's a bit late in the day now to paint it, definitely late in the day. I will pop in tomorrow morning and give it a first coat. And I'm only doing it because I think it makes the bow a little bit unfinished. It just feels like I should do it so that when it pulled out the paint shed it looks like I've done something. But it also gives me an opportunity to finish off the 17th door, which is the bow locker cover. That's not bad for basically 2 weeks work. A black door. Oh, better bring the window cleaner stuff down tomorrow. Hello, Roma's here today. Job today is bow to stern, and it's got all the doors and the hatches back on. Get everything secured up so I don't have to keep screwing boards up every night. Close the windows. This one first. There we go. That's the bow ones on.
Windows are in place.
All cleaned, all the fingerprints off, and they're closing nicely. Now, this bit here hits the granny handle, and it's just catching on the glass. So we'll put a little rubber stop on there. I'll probably put a magnet in it, and that way, a magnet, and it will stay open.
Yeah, rather than damage it with a big hooky thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sunday domestic chores, cleaning the windows.
If I haven't got enough to do in the, I haven't got enough to do in the house.
I get anything to do in the house.
Well, no, because I do it. That's why you think there's nothing to do in the house.
You bloody liar.
I don't swear.
Who does the laundry? Who does the cooking? You would starve without my cooking.
No. Who did it all?
You just eat pasta all day in jars of horrible sauces.
No, you would just eat Scotch pies.
I would.
Yeah, so.
In a bread roll.
Yeah, that's far worse than I would.
And absolutely no issues with the port hatch at all. Unlike the starboard hatch where the washer was making it too high. Lovely. You know, for all that effort, it doesn't look much, but when it's painted in panels, it just all, it all just kind of matches. The idea was to make the whole duck hatch the same kind of style as the portholes. And I think we've achieved that very well. And that's the sliding hatch. Roma's just doing a little bit of a touch up where we noticed I had gone through the masking tape.
Alright?
That's fine.
Yeah, just a little.
That's it. All back together with colour of tartan blue on the stern. Just got to put the air vents and the control panel back on. And there's the sliding hatch, which is just lovely. And that's tartan blue. And that's hatch 17, the final hatch. Hey, that's brilliant. Still didn't get to sand the back seat, but we'll try and do that next week. So we're back home. It's been a
very productive week.
Yeah, busy.
Busy.
Lots and lots and lots of things going on. So it wasn't just about the painting of the stern. It was everything else that we got done as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you know, that point where you get to the ends of many projects and you're kind of pushing it all down into the funnel to get it all finished off. That's what it's been like this week.
It's been very good.
So next week, I think I'm just going to see if I can paint the final stern seat. It's looking difficult now with the weather.
When do next week? There's a few
it's
days.
overnight. It's dropping down to like 3 degrees.
Yeah.
So it'll be another week of chasing the weather. But I don't want to start anything new. I want to just tail this lot off and finish it, and then we can go right. We'll have a wee break.
Yeah, and then move on to that
before we go start back inside and pick up where we left off 6 weeks ago.
I know, it's been that long. We've achieved a lot.
6 weeks. And we've only painted a part of the boat.
Yes, we've done, but that's quite a lot involved in that.
So I think we'll wrap up.
Absolutely.
We'll wrap up this week's video here. We'll leave you with what you've just been watching. Not quite sure what that is, but you've been watching stuff. So, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, and thanks for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, you know, click the subscribe button, click the little bell icon.
It'd be very helpful, thank you very much.
And
we'll see you next time. Okay.
Well, you talked over me.
Okay.
So, and do that, I can cut it.
Alright.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
No, you say that.
See you next time.
Don't say it to me.
See you next time.